You've been able to connect with your buyer. Oh my gosh, hallelujah. You've had a conversation, maybe even asked some questions that they've responded to, and then it happens. Your buyer says, we're not interested. In this video, I'm going to share with you the exact strategies to use when your buyer says to you, we're not interested, regardless of where that comes up in the sales process. Hi, I'm Shawn Casemore, and I help you learn how to be a high-performing sales professional, helping you to earn more money in less time. If that sounds good to you, make sure you click the like on this video and subscribe to the channel, and you'll be notified each and every time I release a new video, which is typically weekly. So your buyer has said to you they're not interested, but here's the thing, they are interested. They're just not interested right this moment. How do I know that? Well, let's be honest. The last time you were really not interested in somebody, maybe it was a call you received while you're eating dinner, you picked it up, somebody trying to sell you something, what did you do? You hung up. You didn't give them the time of day, you didn't invest a moment in them at all. So if your buyer is actually taking time to tell you they're not interested, other than saying we're not interested in hanging up, but if they're actually telling you this, maybe you've had a brief conversation, maybe you've actually given them a proposal or a quote, and this is their response, they are interested.
So you're telling me there's a chance? Yeah!
What's behind this objection is typically time, meaning that they're not interested right now, but they might be interested later. And how do we know this? Well, because they didn't just hang up on you. They didn't take you and kick you out of the room, right? They didn't click the close button on Zoom and walk away. They took the time to tell you this. Now, you might say, well, they're trying to be polite, Shawn. Maybe, but I'm going to suggest it's a little bit deeper than that. You see, not interested is a quick way to tell people, you know, we're not really interested right now. Or this might be a fit, we're just really not clear on how it helps us. Or, you know, we're really busy right now, so we might want to look at this later. I just don't really know when. That's what they're really saying when they say, we're not interested. So step one that I want you to consider when somebody says not interested, don't just pack up, close Zoom, walk into the office, and walk away and say, well, what a waste of time that was. Don't panic.
The guy's an actor, he's reading a script. When they tell you not to panic, that's when you run.
When you can stay in touch, let's talk about step number 2 that I want you to follow when this happens. Step 2, when your buyer says not interested, so step 1 was don't panic. Step 2 is this, shock therapy. Shock therapy. Now, I don't mean paddles, but shock therapy. What you want to do is respond with something that gets them to go, oh, here's an example of that. Buyer says to you, Shawn, this has been great. Appreciate your time. We're just not interested right now. Response, you know what, Bob, I can appreciate that. I mean, literally, I kind of came out of the blue and we started discussing this without really knowing more about your business and when the right time might be to introduce this. So let me ask you a question. If now's not the right time, when is, right? So that's the soft approach. Here's a more bold, direct response you could try. Buyer says, Shawn, this has been really good. Appreciate your time, but we're just not interested right now. You say, well, no, you know, I completely understand, Bob, you're not interested. I mean, I'm really just here sharing how we might be able to help you. There's a lot more questions I would have, and it's going to take some more time here, so I'm not surprised by your answer. Let me ask you a question. Would it be good as a next step if we, and then you lead into a next step, meet with their team, have a follow-up in a month? Okay? What you're noticing here is my response isn't, oh, I understand, Bob. You know, I put a lot of time into this, but okay, I guess if you're not interested, I'll move on. That's not what we want to do. We want to shock therapy, give them a response that makes them go, oh, this person gets it. So that's step number 2. Now, if you're enjoying this video and tips, a couple things I'd really appreciate if you could help me with. Number 1, like the video. That helps the video grow so that others can see it. Step 2, if you've got techniques to share, make sure you comment below with those techniques. I'd like to build this as a community that helps everybody. Last but not least, if you haven't clicked the subscribe button yet, I'm not sure what you're waiting for. Time is of the essence. Back to the video. The buyer has said they're not interested. You've responded with some shock therapy here. Presuming they don't kick you out of the office, which is highly unlikely.
Bob, I'm letting you go.
Pardon?
Here's what I want you to do next. Step 3, revisit value. Now, the value will depend on what you're selling, and hopefully you've had some strong discovery questions and a discovery session prior so that you're equipped with understanding what your buyer does value and how you can offer this. But we want to revisit that. You see, the reality is when somebody says they're not interested and what they're really saying is now's not the right time, when we start to create these value pyramids, these steps of value that kind of overwhelm the buyer with how much they're going to get, suddenly we can make what is not a priority right now a priority. But we have to be the ones to initiate and talk about the value. That value can include things like improving expenses, increasing sales, reducing downtime, improving customer satisfaction, right? The list goes on and on and on. And again, if you've had a solid discovery session, you'll know this. So you want to start to hit them with the value. So something you might say as a response, as a follow-up to shock therapy is, in our discussion earlier, Bob, we talked about how this product is actually going to reduce your downtime. Is that something then you're looking at as a priority for next year? I said to a client recently, we were talking about sales teams, and they said, you know, we've been having some problems with our sales teams discounting, and I hear that a lot. What I said to them was, okay, we can discuss this. We come up with a strategy to help, and then they decided to wait. They decided to push that work with the team until next year. So my response was, interesting. So you're telling me that either they've fixed the discounting problem or that discounting problem is okay until next year? That's some shock therapy, and guess how they responded? Right? Because I'm taking shock therapy and value and putting it together. They can assess the value. They responded by, you know what, you're right, let's talk about doing something now. So you start to revisit the value your product or service is providing your buyer, which starts to shift their mindset a bit around why now might be the right time. Step 4, now that you've stacked up the value and reminded them, we want to hit ROI, okay? Your buyer may be somebody that's focused on the investment. Now might not be the right time because they don't think they have the money to make the investment right now.
Hey, it's me. Knock, knock. So, you got my money?
Huh? Oh, yeah, I'll pay you soon.
They've got other things going on, other priorities for where they invest money. So in which case you want to make sure, again, briefly you touch on the return on investment. Building on the last time where we said, okay, Bob, you mentioned to me that, you know, if we introduce this product, it's going to cut your downtime in half. That was step 3. Step 4 is ROI. Didn't you mention that if we could cut your downtime in half, that would actually pay for this within the next 3 months? What I've done there is, again, a little bit of shock therapy to get their attention. I very quickly mentioned something of value that we discussed earlier and how my product or service would be helpful to them. And then I've tapped into the back of that, the return on investment they would achieve. What this does is, again, for those buyers who are highly focused on money and cost and saying, well, now is not the right time because you don't have the money, I'm reminding them of how quickly they can recoup this investment by purchasing now without saying it that way. So that's step number 4. Step number 5 is to revisit your offer. So you'll notice how all this goes together pretty quick. I've really given you, 3 sentences in total, if that, to use so far? So once we've revisited value, the earlier example where I said, hey, Bob, you mentioned to me that if we could do this now, this would actually cut your downtime in half. Then I went to ROI. And if you cut your downtime in half, I think we agreed that this would pay for itself within 3 months. That's step number 4, ROI. Step number 5 is to revisit the offer. So would it make sense then that we move forward now, but change our payment plan so that you can recoup this investment monthly instead of within 3 months' time? I'm going back to the offer and the options and revisiting them with the buyer. Now, that was a money offer. You might go back and give a different offer. So let me run through one more example. So Bob, you said if we could do this, it would cut your downtime in half. Then I go to ROI. And if we could cut the downtime in half, you said this would pay for itself within the last 3 months. Now I go to revisit the offer, not a money example. So wouldn't it make sense that we bring your team in to talk about how we might introduce this right now to be able to recoup quickly and reduce that downtime issue that you have, right? So that was more of a team-focused approach. So different ways to approach this, but the key is revisit your offer. You know I'm a fan of bonus tips. Here's the bonus tip. If you try this and it doesn't work, and that can happen, right? At least you tried. That's step 1. Here's what I want you to ask your buyer. If through everything you've gone through, Bob says, in my example earlier, Bob says, no, Shawn, just sorry, now's not the right time. Respond with this. Completely understand, Bob. Really appreciate your time. If now's not the right time, when is? And then, and wait. What you're trying to do now, the next best strategy. If I'm not going to move us forward today, I want to get a date in the calendar to follow up with you, and you've got to tell me what that date is. I cannot suggest it. And then we put it in our calendars, and I follow up with you on that date. You know, when I work with sales teams across North America, what I found predominantly is one of the biggest challenges is staying on track When we get these opportunities with buyers and we get objections, then we go back to our prospect list. But if we haven't maintained activities, we don't have enough prospects to go back to. So for that reason, I created what I call the 30-day sales action planner, a tool that you can use. It's a PDF. You can print it off. You can apply it, use it however you want. There's a link below. Grab your copy. There's no obligation. There's no cost at all. It's my way of trying to help you achieve that high-performing sales professional level. Let me suggest, if you've been trying to recover from objections, building your influence may be something that's important to you in sales. And in fact, influence is something we should all focus our attention on. If that's the case, watch this video next to make sure you build your influence. And until next time, get on out there, use these strategies to overcome objections. Let's go sell something. We'll talk to you soon.